Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming on my show and being a part of this. I really, really appreciate every single one of you. So, today and this week, we're going to be talking about create a happier life. The choice is yours. How many of you know people who are stuck in their misery, right? They're so stuck in their pain and their trauma that they don't know how to move forward. And that's really a sad state to be because it's really about perspective and it's a choice. It's a choice whether to be happy or not because happiness comes from within, not from without. And so if you think you're going to be happy, that somebody's going to make you happy, you're never going to be happy. So it's very interesting that we can always change our perspective on how we look at life and how we look at those events of the past. Because you see, everybody has had some kind of traumatic event that has been pivotal for them throughout their life. But how we choose to view that event is up to us. So, how do we move from the victim role to the victor role? And the very first thing we need to do is begin to choose that we don't want to be in that place anymore. But it's really, really hard to get out of that story that we've been telling ourselves for so long. As a coach, it's interesting. I hear people, my clients, and some of them, they tell you this story. And for me, I just want to know like the basic information. I don't care what the whole story is. Because if it happened 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, or 40 years ago, how much have you embellished that story to make it sound even more painful to prove why you should be the victim? But you know what? The subconscious mind is really amazing. And it does not know the difference between what is true and what is false. And so when we decide to change the narrative and to change the story, then we can decide, the subconscious mind will just go along with it. So, one of the first things that I would like to encourage you to do is to figure out, okay, what would my life look like if I learned the lessons from these events? And what would it look like if I decide to change my story? So, we can change our story any way we want. And the more that we tell that story and we put in the emotions of, wow, what it would feel like to really be this new person, then all of a sudden, that's the new belief system that we have. And that's what we begin to create in our life. Because our emotions are a powerful thing, and that's what really drives change. So, are you ready to tell a new story and to create a new vision for your life? See, we know in Judaism that everything happens for our good, but sometimes it's hard to see it. So, how do we take those events that happen to us and use them as a springboard to grow, to be the person that God wants us to be? How can we inspire other people to grow and to see that, you know what, this incident happened to me so I can learn the lessons and be a different person in the future? And I know for me, one of the greatest things that moved me into a much better place, and I talk about this all the time, is moving into gratitude. And sometimes when people are in those really low emotional states, if they're feeling guilt or shame or really in that negative story, right? They say, I don't see anything good in my life. because those emotions are all ego states. And when we're so self-absorbed, we can't see what's good right in front of our eyes. And so it's really important that you start to shift your perspective and really start to look at what is good in my life. If you're not on the street, you got a roof over your head, that's a blessing. If you got eyes that you can see the trees and your children, and arms that you can hug people, and a nose that you can smell the beautiful scents, we got to go simple with what we're grateful for. And only at that point do we start to begin to change our perspective. And the more that we work on it, the more that it becomes easier for us. Because, like any tool, you can't expect to go to the gym the first day and come out looking like a buffed bodybuilder. It's not going to happen. It may take you a year or two of constantly working out and working your muscles to get in the shape that you desire. And it's the same thing with moving in gratitude and starting to create a different perspective in life. So when you make your list, the trick is catching yourself in those negative moments and start reading from your list. Start saying things that you're grateful for, and you'll see you'll begin to shift out of those negative mindsets very quickly. And the more that you do this, the better off you'll start catching yourself more and more. So at the beginning, maybe you'll catch yourself once a week, and then it'll be once a day, and then you'll catch yourself 5 times a day or more. But that's where I want you to be, is where you are mostly in the gratitude state than in the negative state. So if you could dream big to create your life and to change that story, go big, right? Create that inner happiness that you desire to allow yourself to really grow and be the person you're supposed to be. That's what we're here for. I want to ask if anyone who's on the call right now would like to come on live with me and ask a question that I can help them to move into these higher emotional states. I want this to be a show where you can come on live with me and ask questions and grow. So if there's anyone, please put your name, put it in the comments, and I'm happy to invite you onto the show with me to ask your questions live. I see there are a few people here with me, and I really appreciate all your support. So again, if you want to come on live and ask your question, please type it in the chat so I can invite you onto the call. So again, just recapping what we were talking about is, creating this new story, getting rid of the trauma or those events that have held you back, that have been your triggers, and moving forward by creating a new, loving, amazing story of what your life it would be now if those events hadn't happened. Or using those events as a springboard to create a new vision of yourself. But by really dreaming big and really digging down hard into elevating your emotions. But saying words of gratitude or changing the story is not enough if you do not put the emotions behind it, because it's our emotions that change our life and our perspective, and they raise our emotional vibration in the world. And the more that we elevate our emotions, then like attracts like. And it's only at that point that we can really create and see miracles happen in our life all the time. Because we're told that like attracts alike. So let's say you need a house and you're envisioning this beautiful house, and that's resonating up here vibrationally, but your emotions are down here. Whoops, let me get in the screen here. Down here, right? You're not a vibrational match for it. So the only way you're going to do that is to elevate your emotions to match what it is that you're trying to attract in your life. And once you're there, that's when you really, really start to see changes and can really expect great things in your life. Because if we don't appreciate what we already have, why should God or source energy give you anything else? You won't appreciate it. You won't know what to do with it. You know, it's interesting. They say people who win the lottery, the majority, like 90% of them or something, have lost all that money within 5 years. And that's because they never got an abundance mindset. They just kept with the same, they didn't grow or change because of that money. That money just was something that, like, okay, now I can blow and change. But now what you need to do is when you see these gifts in your life, you have to see what they are and use them to grow to be the best version of yourself. And by appreciating everything that comes into your life, then you open the doors for more wonderful things to come in. And that's what I want everybody to create. Because I've created this wonderful life. I live my life in gratitude every single minute. I walk outside. It was so amazing. Yesterday, I went to a class and we were learning about having faith and connection with God. And one of the things that I realized in that she was talking about is that, you know, we really need to understand and trust that, you know, the wind, we take the wind for granted, but the wind is there to, you know, help with the rain and the planting of the seeds and everything else. But I was just thankful because it was hot yesterday and that breeze helped cool me down. And so do we take for granted even the breeze that's blowing that does so many wonderful things in the world? So I don't want you to live your life taking anything for granted, because life is too short and too sweet when you start to look for the good. So if you're ready to create lasting change, that's really the way to elevate your life, is by switching to gratitude. So I hope you'll come back, learn more. If anyone wants to come on and ask any questions right now, please post in the chat and I'll bring you on the call. Like I said, I want this to be interactive and to help people to grow. And if not, please join my Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/the Stride of Life. As the channel grows, I'm going to be posting the links in there every week so you can come on the call live and ask your questions. I'm here to help you look at life from a different perspective, because right now we are in really trying times. The world is upside down. And our job right now is to connect with God and to have that relationship. But we can only have that relationship with God if we can recognize all the goodness that He does for us. Because when we're in those low emotional states, which are all ego states, there's no room for God in them. And so that is not where God wants us to be. We're here to enjoy everything that He gives us and to really elevate our life to the next level. So I hope you found this class worthwhile. I appreciate you all being here. And I will see you next Sunday, same time. 7 p.m. Israel time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, everyone, so much. Have a great day.